Okie dokie. Right. I just thought I'd give you a quick demonstration on sort of selections and masking, because one or two people have asked me how I've made this liquid chocolate shot on this white background, and one or two others that have been posting up on Facebook, etc., etc. And it's really dead simple, and I do wish people would. I'm going to go off on one now and have a bit of a waffle. I do wish people would sort of learn to be a bit creative and try and make something out of nothing, especially when the weather's crap. A bit like it is today outside my office window. It's all very depressing, cold, rainy, wet and horrible. And basically this raw file here is nothing more than watered down white emulsion paint, being sort of poured in front of two speed lights that are doing about a 20,000th of a second against a black background. And it's just the sort of thing that takes you sort of 10 minutes to set up, providing you don't mind making a bit of a mess. A couple of hours to set up if you do mind making a mess. But, you know, I mean, it's the sort of thing that you can do time and time and time again. And you can create some quite nice images with it. But, with a technique. Anyway, but what we're sort of talking about here is isolation, selection, masking, etc., etc. And I'm going to show you very quickly how to take this raw file and turn it into liquid chocolate on, you'll notice, a white background. Okie dokie. So, if we come back to our normal view, I better just make sure that I've only got that one selected, and we'll scoot this image over into Photoshop and we'll start. So we'll go edit in Photoshop CC. Oh dear, Photoshop, come on. Oh, don't start. Here we go. Oh, right. Okay. So there's quite a lot of ways that we can actually separate this paint or liquid, in other words our subject. There's quite a few ways we can separate it, but basically whichever way you use always boils down to the same thing. You've got to make a mask, right? So the way you make the mask, I've got in my digital download store, I've got a very extensive Photoshop layers, channels and masking DVD, or well, set of videos that you can go and purchase. And people don't purchase it very often now because it's Photoshop CS4, Photoshop CS5. And the crazy thing is, layers, channels and masking hasn't changed, right? But you know, so everything that's in those videos is just as applicable today as it was when they were new and up to date. But I will be doing some more selection tuition videos inside of Photoshop. Well, I won't be doing them. Well, yes, I will be doing them inside of Photoshop. But anyway, I'm waffling again. Let's get on with the blooming job, Andy. Shut the hell up, will you? Because people haven't come here to listen to you waffle, and I'm waffling again. So what we need to do is we need to basically cut this out, because we're going to have to change its colour. And we could change its colour very simply. This is over here in my colour picker. This is actually the colour we are going to change the paint to. And basically, I'll just click OK. We could just very easily come and get a new layer and just go edit and fill, foreground colour, and click OK. And then we could switch this into, say, the multiply blend mode. Yeah, and then we could sit and play around with it a little bit, but the only thing is we've added this colour all across this black area as well, and it's sort of not really a good idea. It's a bit of it makes the background look mucky and messy. So I'll actually keep that layer in there because we'll need that shortly anyway. But so I'll just deactivate it. And what we need to do is to actually, as I said before, go and separate this paint from the black background. Even if we are going to keep it on a black background, you still need to separate it. So one method I like to use is colour range, and this will work alright for some images and it won't work so very well with others. I'm not going to go into the basics of the colour range selection tool because I'm going to be doing that in some in amongst a set of other tuition videos which I'm going to be launching a bit later on this year. As soon as it's the middle of November, I better get a move on, hadn't I? But anyway, so we've got localized colour clusters activated, fuzziness of 20 and a range of 100%, and basically all we've got selected here is all the blacks, the background. And what we really want to do is we want to have the subject selected, don't we? So if we go ahead and click invert, yeah, and then we go OK, and now we'll get the colour range dialog box up. It's working. There's the selection, and we just come and add a mask to it, and there we go. So we've actually now isolated this particular subject from its background. So if we go in and double click 100%, you can see it's got this strange black line. Now I wouldn't particularly, if we were going to do this on a black background, I wouldn't particularly worry about that black line, but it's going to look pretty damn silly if we go and put it on a white background, which we'll go and do now by adding a new transparent, new empty layer, and we'll go fill, and we'll say fill with white and click OK, and then just drag that down underneath, and it looks like it's a cardboard cutout, doesn't it? So what we need to do is we need to click on the mask to make it active and go to mask edge, and I've got some values preloaded into this, which is a smart radius of 3.9 pixels, and we've just increased the contrast by 24%, and we've got decontaminate colours turned on, but we've just left it at the standard default 50%. Again, in my upcoming DVD stroke video set, we'll be going through each one of the controls and what they mean. But anyway, we're just going to click OK, and so now we've got, if we actually turn that new layer off and turn the old layer on, you can see we've got a much cleaner selection, and we've sort of lost that dark edge, but you still need that dark edge to a degree to actually define the edge of the subject. So now what we need to do is to turn on our chocolate layer, yeah, and if we go and click on it, we'll see it's in the multiply blend mode. Remember, as it comes in by default, it's in the normal blend mode, so we can't see diddly. But if we put it in the multiply blend mode, yeah, we can see. If we go and put it in the hard light blend mode, now that's a bit better, but you can see we're still applying it to the entire background. However, if we hold down the Alt key and hover on the border between the subject mask layer and the overlay colour layer, and we can go and add a clipping mask, and Bob's your uncle. And so now we've converted. That's made me hungry, that has now. I'm going to have to go and have a chocky dicky in a minute. But what we need to do is just sort of add a little bit more variation to it, and just make it pop just that little tiny bit more. And what I'm going to do is go to Greg Benz's Lumenzia, cracking plugin, go and buy it, link in the video, and I'm going to select the darks 4 mask, I think. Yeah, maybe not, maybe the darks 5, no, darks 3, that's better. And we're going to load that as a selection, yeah, and then we're going to come to the adjustments panel and we're going to make a levels adjustment. And because we loaded that selection from Greg's Lumenzia plugin, you can see if I out click on the mask, that is the mask for the levels adjustment layer. And hit the backslash key to come back again and click on the adjustment, and all I'm going to do is, let's just get this mid-tone slider and move it to the right a little bit, and it's just added a little bit more punch and definition. And then I'll get the highlight slider and I'll move that slightly to the left. And then this is a dangerous thing, this is the black slider in the levels adjustment. You can only move it to the right, and you do not want to move it any further to the right than the very left limit of the histogram. So it's a bit awkward, so I'm actually going to put a value of 7 in there. And if we turn that layer off, see, it looked a little bit flat. Turn it back on, now it looks a little bit punchier. And we'll go File and we'll go Save. And then once it's finished saving, bum ba bum bum bum, come on, there we go. And we can go back to Lightroom, and there's our image. And we can just very simply go to quick develop mode, go to the develop module, and all I'm going to do is add a little bit of clarity to it. Yep. And then I might lift the shadows a little tiny bit and lift the exposure a little tiny bit. There we go. Whew, gosh. And there we have it. White paint on the background to liquid melted gorgeous chocolate on a white background. And you know, I mean, it works all day long. So there you are. It's a quick lesson in how I do selections and masking and use it to change the colour of something. Okay. Alright, I'll see you soon. Tooroo.